Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the growth marketing course. And in this lesson and in the coming few lessons, what we'll do is we'll apply growth marketing to different businesses. And we look at the A3R3 funnel and how it applies to different business types. So, Swati, what I've done is I've taken 4 different business examples.
Okay.
Just so that now you know what the A3R3 funnel is and what the metrics are, etc. I want you to get into the mode of actually being able to apply that for different businesses.
Okay.
And how I've split those 4 businesses is 2 of them are B2B businesses, 2 of them are B2C businesses. And in every lesson from today, in the next 4 lessons, we will take 1 business example each. Okay.
Great.
Perfect. So I'm going to share my screen and start with the obvious example. Since we run a marketing agency, I'm going to take the example of a B2B agency, right? And I've already mapped the funnel out, but we're going to discuss it together. So this is not the exact methods that we use for our agency, but this is basically all the possible methods that you can use as an example. Not saying that it's just limited to this, you can think of more ideas, but this gives a very good starting point for any B2B agency. And even if you're not running a B2B agency, it's important to understand how the A3R3 funnel can actually be replicated for different businesses, right? So there's a lot of content here, but we'll break it down, okay? So the first thing what we're talking about is the first stage of our A3R3 funnel, which is awareness, right? Then we are looking at what are the different methods, channels, and tools that we can use for awareness.
Okay.
And finally, what should we measure from this stage, right?
Okay.
So if we are executing this, then what we should be measuring. I've tried to keep it as generic as possible so that it applies to various kinds of B2B businesses, and also gives you a framework to think in terms of the funnel, right? Cool. So awareness, right? The different methods that we have here is having content marketing. So having a blog, having your social media pages, doing webinars, doing podcasts, doing press releases, industry events, which is some agencies do like big industry events where, you get a lot of footfalls. A lot of people are thus made aware about your business, that a solution exists that you provide to solve a problem that they have, right? Now, the obvious metrics that you can measure here is impressions, reach, web traffic, social media followers, event attendees, even backlinks, something exciting, because as an agency or as any B2B business, you could be collaborating with other magazines and blogs on the internet, and then they could be giving backlinks to you. When someone clicks on those links, you get new traffic, and hence it improves your awareness.
Okay.
Right? So what do you think as a result of this, what should be in the acquisition stage for an agency?
I think getting signups in terms of getting the emails. If you're getting them ready to do an audit or getting on a free demo call.
Exactly. So demo calls or discovery calls or audits or lead magnets, these are great examples of ways to acquire people from there. So white papers, ebooks, reports, PPC ads, LinkedIn ads, Google ads. Now you can even run ads on your landing pages where you're getting them finally on a discovery call through giving lead magnets or free resources. And those are great ways to actually then make people convert who are already made aware. And some of the things that you can measure here is the number of leads, cost per leads, conversion rate, and click-through rate on your ads. So I would also, suggest that in many businesses, ads could be great for awareness as well. As an agency, just personally, I feel that, my awareness should be organic and my acquisition can be done via ads. But when you run acquisition campaigns, you are by default also spreading awareness.
Okay. Yes.
Cool. What's the next stage on the funnel? Activation. What do you think? This is slightly different for agencies. What do you think is going to happen in activation?
I think
because
it's
very straightforward, right? You give a free trial, 1 week, onboarding, product.
Right. Yeah, I mean, getting the client would be activation, because
so let's revise what is activation. Just remember the example that I gave you about the test driving a car.
Yeah.
How do you test drive a car in case of a digital agency? It's like just before getting a client, but they should be able to get a taste or feel of your services that you're providing.
Oh, yeah, maybe getting a demo or getting a 1 month trial retainer, for example.
Right. A lot of agencies do that. So they offer either a free audit, or they do like, the first month is free. If they're really small agencies, they could do that as well. So some of the things are obviously consultations is a good one. So like I could do one consultation call with a client, add value in the consultation call. I think, success stories with other clients, which can be documented as case studies, taking them through that can give a taste of what your service is. It's like test driving, but it's not the same model of the car, right? Like it's going to be different application for you. Free consultation for me is slightly easier to afford than a free month, just because of the size of the agent. For some smaller agencies, it could be possible to give a free month as well. For product demos, it's pretty straightforward. If you're a B2B agency who's also built like a productized version of your service, or you offer a side project as a product, then you can give a demo of that product and then offer your service as a upsell on that product, right? And many agencies have this product plus service or productized service model as well, right?
Okay.
So if you're doing free consultations, for example, then what's the number of consultations? If you're getting your conversion rates, your time to first value, these are like different metrics for activation. Again, for an agency, activation can be slightly tricky to crack because you don't want to make it commoditized too much. At the same time, you do want to give some feeling to the client in order to close the deal. Right? So now in case of an agency, revenue typically comes first before retention. However, just to keep consistency, I'm going to just, I've just placed it in the same order, but I'm going to talk about revenue first. So usually you'll use different kinds of, pricing strategies and sales approaches. I know agencies who have a proper sales team. Then I know agencies who just do it themselves, like the founders do it themselves. Some agencies have retainers. Some agencies have just one-time projects. And in all of those cases, it's important to measure like what's your lifetime value, whether you have a retainer or a one-time project. As an agency, you can always measure your customer lifetime value.
Okay.
So for example, if I do a retainer at, let's just take $1,000 a month, and I usually keep a client for 10 months on an average. I don't lose a client for 10 months. So $10,000 is my lifetime value for a customer. Or if I just do a one-time project for $5,000 and then usually get another project from a client within 6 months for another $5,000, then my lifetime value is again 10,000. But in the second case, I'm doing 2 projects. And in the first case, I'm doing a retainer. So that's how you calculate that. As an agency also, you can upsell and cross-sell. You have, let's say, for example, an SEO service, and then you upsell search ads as a service. Those things also you can do. With retention, you typically want to keep the clients as long as possible. So you have the retention score, etc. For that, you have account management, dedicated account managers, even, webinars for your clients, even a help center for your clients, even customer support and success team. So the customer success team is basically making sure that the client is able to achieve the goals that they set out when they partnered with your agency. So of course, for an agency, revenue would come first and then retention. And finally, referral. I think, this is something that as agencies, we miss out on. At least I have not leveraged this part for my agency a lot. So like basically just asking out your customers, not just for referrals, but for testimonials. So that's an interesting thing, that testimonials actually count as a metric for the referral stage, right? So if you have testimonials, what are testimonials? They are basically tools for referrals.
Yeah.
So when people read testimonials of other clients about you, they will act as tools to convert those clients.
Right.
So yeah, this is interesting because as an agency owner, if I was not a growth marketeer, I wouldn't look at my agency from an A3R3 lens.
No, yes.
So it's important to, I know this could be a lot of information, but if someone is just starting out, I would tell them to pick one of the methods, one of the metrics from each stage, and then execute that first, see how it goes, and experiment, try different things, follow the growth marketing process. And that's how you would basically be growing the value of your agency.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great exercise too,
So keeping it simple, keeping it slightly generic, so adjust it based on your needs. But that's how we can apply the growth marketing, framework and funnel to an agency, and then implement the growth marketing process to experiment in each stage of the funnel and find what works. Right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's all for this video. And in the next example, we're going to look at a different kind of business. Okay. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next one.